And to understand the verdict of the US elections, now we are joined by Professor Harshvardhan Pant, Vice President of the Observer Research Foundation. Welcome, sir. So as Donald Trump is on the cusp of victory now, what are likely to be Trump's major policy moves on the international stage?
I think, he has laid out a very expansive agenda, and one of the reasons why he has become victorious is because of the voter discontent in America about the rising cost of living, about inflation, about crime, about immigration. So I think that will be his focus. That will be his focus areas. Abroad, I think he will be very tempted to wind down American support for Ukraine, which he has mentioned repeatedly that this cannot be an open-ended commitment. And I think largely his focus will be inward-looking, but at the same time also focusing on China, where he has, a country he has threatened with tariffs. So certainly, I think we are looking at a landscape that will be quite that will be disruptive. That will be disrupted by Mr. Trump coming back to power in Washington. And he has openly laid out an agenda which is not in the mainstream of American foreign policy establishment. So I think we are going to see a lot of changes, and some of the themes that he has laid out, that he had laid out in his first presidency, will also continue. So we are going to see a very active presidency from his point of view, because certainly he's not going to get another term at the office, and he'll have to make the most of his 4 years in White House.
US Vice President-elect also said that after having the best political comeback, Trump will now lead the best economic comeback in history. Your take on that?
And that, I think, is certainly the most important issue on Mr. Trump's political agenda, because that is what has voted him back to power. There is an expectation, perhaps among people who are hurting in America, who feel that Biden administration has not paid enough attention to their economic distress, to the rising cost of living, to inflation, to a larger economic pessimism that surrounds American economy at this point. Although the economy has been doing relatively well in the last few months, but still I think for people to feel reassured, they have voted Trump back to power, hoping that he will have a plan to not only bring down the cost of living, but also to ensure that the working class gets their due. And we do see a lot of support for him in the working class boroughs in the American states. A lot of the blue states have voted for Republicans, and I think we are going to see that trend continue, where Mr. Trump will lay out an agenda which will be about economic revival, as he says, of the US. So Make America Great Again movement is premised on this idea that America needs to nurture its own strengths domestically, which means manufacturing, which means employment, which means larger economic prosperity, which has eluded many in the Rust Belt of America.
And how do you see the good relations between Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi benefiting India? Also, US Senator Richard McCormick has said that both Donald Trump and Narendra Modi can grow the world economy together. Your reaction to that?
Well, certainly, I think there is a history between Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump. Both have had a very productive 4 years back in when Mr. Trump was in White House, and they had laid out very extensive in the US agenda, bilateral agenda, and global agenda. And I think both of them remain focused on domestic priorities, developmental priorities. And Mr. Modi has tried to ensure that India continues to contribute to the global growth agenda. And as India grows, India can be a very important partner for the US. And I think perhaps India is the only country which was comfortable with both Biden administration and a potential Trump administration. So I think we are going to see that chemistry between Mr. Modi and President-elect Trump to be translated into actionable policy outcomes. And we are going to see this relationship grow both in economic terms, as you pointed out, but also in strategic terms in the Indo-Pacific.
And how do you see US-India defense strategic ties developing under the new US president?
Precisely because Donald Trump is focused on ensuring that the focus of America remains on long-term strategic challenge, that is China. I think we are going to see a lot more focus on the core threat which he feels America faces, which is the rise of Chinese power in the Indo-Pacific. And for that, he needs partners and a capable, credible partner like India, which what India has been trying to do in the region and beyond, is a marker that India remains willing to play a larger role. And in that context, defense ties, security ties between the two countries will grow bilaterally, as well as part of the wider quadrilateral security dialogue, Quad, which was resurrected, by the way, under President-elect Trump's last presidency. So in that sense, he will continue to engage on the Quad. He will continue to engage on a lot of issues which he was doing before, but certainly with a new momentum, because now there is a synergy in the India-US relationship on a range of issues, not simply economic, but also on a strategic, which he would like to take forward to its logical conclusion.
Finally, a quick word, Professor Pant, on Democrat nominee Kamala Harris's campaign. What are the lessons there?
I think the Democrats broadly have done very badly. They have lost, they have lost Senate, and they are on the verge of also losing the House of Representatives. And this was an election where, for the first time after 1982, Republicans have also won a popular mandate. So in that sense, I think this is back to the drawing board kind of a situation for the Republicans. They will have to rethink how they connect with the wide swathe of American electorate that is no longer engaged with them, and increasingly gravitating to the Republicans, even their traditional supporters like the urban working class, for example. They are not voting for the Democrats. So Democrats, we have seen 31-19 is the score in the states, at the state level. 31 states have been won by the Republicans, have been taken by Trump, and 19 states have been won by Kamala Harris. This is a disastrous result for the Democrats, but Kamala Harris also was burdened by the legacy of Biden administration. She came very late. She was anointed very late as the presidential candidate. So I think there is a lot that the Democrats will have to do over the coming years to figure out a response to this dramatic comeback by Donald Trump.
All right, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much, Professor Pant, for joining us. USA is not getting its woman president, at least not for now. Thank you very much for joining us on DDI News Hour.